That would be a good step forward.
Democrats like to say when Republicans shut down the government that real people are going to get hurt. Here is Secretary of Defense James Mattis on the real effect of this shutdown.
I would just tell you that we do a lot of intelligence operations around the world, and they cost money. Those obviously would stop.
As a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator, are you willing to see that and other vital programs shut down?
The government should not be shut down. That's why I spent all day yesterday listening to, working with Republicans and Democrats.
You voted to shut it down. You voted against the CR.
I voted against a 30-day CR. And to be clear, on Friday, an assistant to that Secretary of Defense, Secretary Mattis, put out a statement saying we shouldn't have another 30-day CR. That's why there were Republicans and Democrats who voted on Friday against a 30-day CR.
So a three-week CR you're going to go for?
It depends on what's on the table in terms of what we're going to move forward on. What matters less is 30-day, 25-day, 20-day, although we've spent a lot of time on that. What matters more is ending the hostage-taking and moving forward. I've got tens of thousands of Delawareans who depend on community health centers. We're months overdue in addressing that. I've got tens of thousands of families relying on the community health insurance program, the children's health insurance program. Remember those hurricanes that tore through Texas and Puerto Rico and Florida? We haven't funded the relief for those hurricanes. Remember the opioid crisis? We have this long list of homework unfinished. We need to address them.
I want to pick up on this, though, because you just said, boy, we don't want the hostage-taking that's going on. That's exactly what Democrats said back in 2013 when Republicans shut down the government over Obamacare. Take a look.
I call them legislative arsonists. They're there to burn down what we should be building up.
Someone goes into your house, takes your wife and children hostage, and then says, let's negotiate over the price of your house. We could say we're shutting down the government, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling until you pass immigration reform. It would be governmental chaos.
Senator, right now, aren't you the legislative arsonist? Aren't you right now taking the government hostage?
Well, Chris, just because a bipartisan group of Democrats and Republicans voted Friday night, including me, against a 30-day CR, doesn't mean I'm an arsonist. I supported continuing the government. I supported
you say you wouldn't support a 3-week CR either unless there's certain conditions met.
Right.
I mean, it's the same point. They shut down the government because they didn't like Obamacare. You're shutting down the government because there's certain things you're insisting on.
Right. And notice I'm spending very little time pointing fingers and saying it's Trump's fault versus it's this person's fault. That's not my priority. My priority, Chris, is finding a way forward through this. I'm more optimistic after yesterday than I've been in a long time because we had 20 senators in a room, Republicans and Democrats listening to each other, talking not just about how to get through this issue, but how to get back to an appropriations process that works. I'm the senior Democrat on the subcommittee that funds Mick Mulvaney's OMB office, including the whole federal judiciary, the Department of the Treasury, all federal properties. We never even had our final markup in October. We're 4 months into the new fiscal year. Our appropriations process is badly broken. And if there was anything good that came out of this weekend when everybody had to cancel their plans and stay here, it's that we are listening to each other and trying to find a way forward. I call on President Trump to do the same, be the leader that millions of Americans hoped he would be, a real deal maker, hear yes, pull together a bipartisan group today, and negotiate to a conclusion. I'll remind you, it's partly because of that explosive meeting where he rejected a bipartisan solution on border security and Dreamers that we're in this mess.
Well,
there is a solution.
We can argue about his language, but the fact is, though, he didn't like the deal.
That's correct. He rejected it in famously forceful language.
But I guess here's my question, because I can't